In today's video, I'm reviewing a 2015 Toyota Venza. The Toyota Venza was introduced to the US market in 2009, seeing a minor refresh for the 2013 model year and being discontinued in the US in 2015 due to poor sales volumes. Toyota originally anticipated sales between 75 to 100,000 units, but unfortunately they capped out at just 67,000 units in 2010. However, if you're in the market for a used vehicle, the Venza is definitely an option worth your consideration. It's a really nice offering within the segment and offers some really nice benefits compared with the competition. On the styling front, I really like what Toyota did with the Venza. I think it's got a very sporty look to it and it's slightly upscale. I mentioned that they did a minor refresh in 2013. The main changes that you'll note with that refresh is that the front grille saw this revision. It's a little updated, more modern look than what you get in prior versions. And then 4-cylinder models like this Venza see a revised wheel design. One cool thing about the Venza is that it comes standard with 19-inch wheels on 4-cylinder models and 20-inch wheels on 6-cylinder models. Gives the vehicle a very sporty look. And I'd say that's one of the main themes throughout this vehicle that you'll notice, that it's got a very sporty look to it. And it's kind of funny because the classification of the Venza is hard to identify. It's not an SUV, it's not a car. I suppose you could call it a crossover, but in some ways it's not even that. It offers a lot of the ride quality and benefits of a minivan in the sense that it drives like a car. It's a very spacious interior, but on the exterior, it's got a very sporty look to it. In addition to those large wheels, you'll note that the rear hatch has a very aggressive slope to it. Gives it that very sporty look. Likewise, the rear window's got a very steep slope to it. The way that the doors come up very high, so the top of the doors is pretty tall, kind of closes that window gap, gives it that very sporty look. Tail lights have a very aggressive design to them. Despite the fact that this is a 4-cylinder model, it comes with a chrome tip exhaust. Gives it that upscale look. And then as we saw up front, very aggressive front headlight and grille design as well. Again, continuing that very sporty theme. Not to mention the front bumper and kind of spoiler down there. Again, gives it a very upscale, sporty look. And there's some nice touches throughout the vehicle that give it that more premium look. So we've got kind of the brushed aluminum on the grille, lower front bumper, chrome accent around the fog light, chrome accent around the kind of window openings of the vehicle, or window casements. See that chrome strip there. Already mentioned the exhaust. And then of course a great set of stock wheels. The Venza was originally offered with only one trim package. They later expanded that to include, this is the LE model, and then they've got the XLE and the Limited. You'll note that this is also an all-wheel drive model. You can get the Venza in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So it handles very good in snow and ice with that all-wheel drive system, and it'll do all right with front-wheel drive. Another thing to note is that the Venza is actually built on the same platform, or a revised platform, of the Toyota Camry. And then that's shared with the 3rd generation of the Lexus RX. So in a lot of ways, this vehicle is kind of the sibling to the Lexus RX model. Overall, really great looking vehicle. And prior to driving it, it was kind of hard looking at pictures to really tell where this vehicle fell in terms of classification. I'd say that it's very comparable to, say, the Subaru Outback in terms of powertrain, cargo capacity, having that all-wheel drive capability. So really great vehicle to cross-shop with the Subaru Outback and other vehicles from within that segment. And I like the fact that with the Venza you get a very sporty look. Outback's a little bit more on the rugged side. But definitely a great looking vehicle, and you'll see that as we get inside, it's also very practical. As we look into the Venza, you'll see it's got a very nice interior, high quality materials, a nice upscale look, good accent colors, And keep in mind, this is the base LE model, and it still comes with a nice level of overall refinement. As far as standard features and options, we've got power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, heated mirrors. You'll see the mirrors also have little insets which help with visibility. Got a full power driver seat with lumbar support. Traction control. On the steering wheel, we have controls for audio and Bluetooth, as well as some other vehicle functions. Go ahead and jump in real quick here, turn the key and give you a look at that instrument cluster, which is a nice clean layout. You'll see that on the upper dash, we've got a little screen. It's got temperature information for the exterior of the vehicle as well as a clock. And then we've got climate control information for inside the vehicle. And then down on the bottom, you'll see that we've got range. We can scroll through information there to change what's reading out there. So we've got 135 miles of range right now. Average speed of 28 miles per hour on this current readout. Average economy of 23.3 miles per gallon. And then you can also get your current economy. You'll see a nice, good sized screen here in the middle, duals as a backup camera. And then you can control a number of other settings through this. So we can go to our home screen here. You can actually configure this screen to have the information that you want. So right now it's set up with radio information, fuel economy and range information. Yeah, and you can click on that and get actual readout. We've got information for weather in the bottom left. So you can change this to choose the settings that you want. If you go to this app screen, it brings up the apps that are available. So this has the Toyota InTune system, which includes a number of apps. You can also download additional apps. So we've got audio functionality. Vehicle has AM/FM radio, CD player, and then you can obviously connect your phone or other MP3 device for audio. And then you can also play internet radio through the vehicle. So Pandora and other internet stations are available. Then it's got the integrated Bluetooth, so you can pull up all your contacts on this screen. A cool feature actually with the phone system, if your phone's connected, is that on this main screen you could set up one of these boxes for phone, and then you can have a number of contacts and you can call them with the push of a button. So a really great feature there. And then also, if you have your phone connected and the InTune app, you can get traffic data, weather data, and then of course we already saw some of the economy information on the other screen. Gives your fuel economy. And then really intuitive system because we've got buttons on both sides and then it's touch screen, so you can get to it either way. We've also got dual zone climate control. So this control here is for the driver's side, this is for the front passenger side, or you can sync the system. Of course we've got air conditioning and heat. Center console here is very large. So first of all, we've got this compartment on the back here that opens up. A lot of space in there. We've got two cup holders, and then we've got this little compartment here for pins or other small objects. And then this whole unit actually slides back, and you've got another console down inside. So a lot of space here for storing various items. You'll see that we've also got a USB and auxiliary input and a 12-volt outlet, so you can plug in your phone or other electronic devices. And then you'll see a little pass through here that goes to this compartment, and so you can place your phone in this slot and then bring the power cord through up there, and it'll hold the phone in place. So kind of a handy little feature there. And then coming to the back seat of the Venza, you'll see it's very spacious, a lot of legroom, plenty of space for these rear passengers. Got a couple of vents bringing that heat and air conditioning into the rear of the vehicle, so that's really handy. Give you a quick view to the front. And you'll see that we've got a built-in center armrest with two cup holders. And then the seat is split 60-40 and folds down with the pull of this lever. So it helps you to get some of those larger objects in. Fold that back up. And then we'll walk around to the back of the vehicle. This is one of the areas where the Venza really shines. It's got a very spacious rear cargo area. With the Venza, you get a lot of benefits. of a car in terms of ride quality and fuel economy, but when it comes to cargo capacity, the Venza delivers. It's got a lot of space here, much more comparable with a minivan or an SUV. And then that seat also folds down with the pull of a lever from back here. So handy if you're loading objects into the back. Of course, you can't fold it up from the back. You'd have to walk around to the side to do that. But a very spacious rear cargo area in the Venza. So the Venza is offered in front wheel drive or all wheel drive, and then they've got 2 engine options. This has the base 2.7 liter 4-cylinder, which is good for 20 miles per gallon in the city and 26 miles per gallon on the highway. If you want a little more power, they've got the 3.5 liter 6-cylinder, which is going to see an EPA rating between 18 and 19 miles per gallon in the city and 25 to 26 miles per gallon on the highway. Both of these engines are paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, from a driving standpoint, I will admit that the 4-cylinder feels a little bit underpowered in the Venza. The 3.5 liter V6 would probably be a little bit more fun to drive, but with the 4-cylinder you get a little better fuel economy, and so it really depends on what you need in a vehicle, whether performance or fuel economy is going to be more necessary. The 4-cylinder isn't bad, it's very quiet, it's very smooth, but you definitely notice it working hard if you're trying to really push the vehicle, and so that's something to kind of balance if you're debating between the 4 or the 6-cylinder. But beyond that, the Venza is a very nice vehicle to drive. It's very smooth, it's very quiet, very comfortable, and where the Venza really shines is that you get a vehicle that's very spacious, a lot of cargo capacity, more like what you'd get in a minivan or an SUV. You also get a vehicle that's really attractive. It's got a very sporty style to it. Looks a little bit like an SUV, but I wouldn't quite say that it's a true SUV in that sense. But then when it comes to driving characteristics, it drives like a car. And so definitely a vehicle that does all things very well. It's not going to be real capable if you try to, take it for true off-roading or pull a trailer or something. But just in terms of the day-to-day driving and functionality, it does that all very well and is a really competent vehicle, really great to drive, and definitely a good option worth consideration. The one other thing that I will note about the Venza that's a little bit weird is the visibility and just the overall feel of the vehicle. And that's where I first felt like, well, this kind of is like a minivan, because it's got a really long dashboard. The window really sticks out far in that sense. And then it's just got a lot of like empty, kind of wasted space up higher. And so it feels very spacious, but it's not necessarily functional. And so that feels a little weird. And then, like I said, the visibility is not great either. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is that these door panels come up really high, and so I think that's part of it, is that you feel like this window gap is kind of small. You're kind of peering out over it, and in that sense the visibility is not as good. That's one of the trade-offs of having a really sporty overall style. So that's a review of the 2015 Toyota Venza. Personally, I think it's a real shame that Toyota discontinued this model, because it really is a nice offering within the segment, and it's a really great practical overall vehicle. If you're on the market for a used vehicle, the Venza is definitely worth your consideration. With the Venza, you get a vehicle that's got pretty good overall styling, looks a little bit like an SUV, and very sporty overall, but it drives like a car. You get the fuel economy of a car, and when equipped with all-wheel drive, it's still very capable in snow and ice. On top of that, it's a very spacious cabin with lots of cargo capacity, and so it's a really practical overall vehicle. And then the fact that it's a Toyota means that you've got that reputation for long-term reliability and durability. And because the Venza sold in such low sales volumes and it's kind of an obscure, unknown model on the market, you can get them for a really reasonable price. And so you're going to find that a lot of Toyotas have really high resale value. They're very expensive as used vehicles, especially their SUVs. And with the Venza, you've got a model that's very obscure. That resale value is not as good, which is a huge benefit to you as a used car buyer. And so it's a really great option to consider. If you have any comments or questions on the Venza, leave them in the section below. For more car reviews, subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, thanks for watching.